ammo. So it's a lot. It's a lot to process.
Yeah, and a block away from the 17th precinct, too. My first question that comes to mind is, how does this man just carry an AR-15 and walk through this busy area, perhaps pass by that precinct without being stopped?
Yeah, I'm sure witnesses saw him and they thought it was unusual. I'm sure they reported it to 911. I'm guessing there was no police presence. Of course, we have a shortage of police officers, so maybe there were no police officers on the scene except for this young police officer that was working paid detail. So that's something telling about our lack of omnipresence right now, again, because of the shortage of police officers, throughout the country. So it's more important than ever, that we have a full police department. So very telling right now that no police officer was on scene to stop this guy until he went into the building and met up with this heroic police officer. Do
you think there's going to be a conversation started about the kind of vest that the officer was wearing?
100%. There is no conversation. That vest cannot withstand an assault weapon, a high-capacity rifle. It's just not designed for that. It's not graded for that. It'll go through it. I hate to say it, let's go through it like, hot steel through butter. It's just not gonna stop it. Fortunately, these crimes don't happen often, and that we don't need these vests, but they'll probably revisit it. But, his weapon, too, was lacking. It's not something that can stop somebody with a high-capacity rifle. We don't carry that much ammo to deal with somebody with this much ammunition and this kind of a weapon.
We're getting ready to take an NYPD presser. Mayor Adams will be addressing the city. What do you expect him to say?
Well, I expect him to give us like an update on the victims, the police officer, hopefully the identity of the suspect, and perhaps if they have a motive already, and how did he, his life ended. So we want to know if it was actually did he take his own life, or was it police involved?
Yeah, a lot of questions, and hopefully we'll get some clarity from that press conference with Mayor Adams. All right, Mike Alcazar, appreciate you as always. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Now I want to take you to earlier. Linda Schmidt was talking to Matt Onimus, who was heading home just moments after he heard that shooting.
Now, Matt, who works with us, we've worked with each other for more than 20 years. He was on his way home from work. And so, Matt, I want you to describe, because not many people got to see what you got to see. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. I was walking home, going to Grand Central to take the train home, and about 6:20. And all of a sudden, I had headphones on, and all of a sudden, just a rush of people were running past me, and more so than just a couple of people. So I took my headphones off, and somebody said gunshots, shooting, and I turned back and I saw some people, it quieted down for a second, and some people were walking back towards 51st Street. So I started walking back to check it out. I saw officers with their guns drawn. I immediately called Fox 5 and talked to our news director and said there's something going on. And then I just got my phone out and I started shooting video of just the officers around the Bank of America building, about to go in, just hiding behind trees and the planters that were there.
Right.
And then they ended up going into the side entrance, and then a few minutes later, people started coming out to the building, running out, and then 4 officers came out, and they were carrying what looked like to me another officer that looked injured. They're carrying him by arms and legs, and carrying him to an ambulance or to another police car.
They were running basically with him.
Yeah, and it went on for a while because the police had their guns drawn for a long time, and they kept. Nobody knew what to do, so people were just still milling about 51st Street. I did hear a few gunshots, and then officers started flooding the area and then pushing people back, and that's where we are right now. Is more than ambulance and officers just started coming into the area.
And now you and I have seen, because one of our colleagues was able to get a picture of the suspect. There's 2 pictures of him, and he looks like a guy, it looks like he's about late 30s, early 40s. He's wearing dark sunglasses. He's got black curly hair. He looks to be like he's dressed like a hip guy, and he's wearing a blazer, a collared shirt that's either white or light blue, jeans and sneakers, and he is carrying what has been told to us is an AR-15, carrying it like this. Now, I don't know if you can see, and now an AR-15 would go from like here on me up to about here. In broad daylight, walking down Park Avenue and going through an esplanade that is normally a very busy area at that time of night because people are on their way home from work, and you're in Midtown, lots of financial industries here along Park Avenue, walking with purpose, and you can see the intenseness on his face. He was on his way to do something, and you can feel looking at those pictures.
I mean, that area was wide open too, so walking with an AR-15 down Park Avenue, you wonder if he got out of a car right there or how far he was walking. It was a big, wide open area, and there's nobody else around him. And you can see from that security photo, it's just him. And it does look like an AR-15 rifle. And when I was taking videos, I talked to one eyewitness that said that he spoke to a woman that was sitting right there. She saw somebody walk in with an AR-15, and she heard automatic fire. And that's what she told this gentleman who told me.
And if you're joining us now, I'm Duarte Geraldino taking over for Natasha right now. We have a developing story. There was a shooter in Midtown Manhattan just after 6:30 p.m. Monday. A man with a rifle and a bulletproof vest, he was wearing a bulletproof vest at the time, walked into the lobby of 345 Park Avenue and opened fire. This is the major office tower that houses companies, some of the biggest names in finance right now. We're talking about Blackstone, KPMG, and of course the NFL. This was a developing story with a lot of locations went on lockdown. 3 people were shot. A police officer working private security and 2 civilians, they were shot. The officer is expected to survive. One of the civilians is in critical condition right now. Now, after the shooting, the gunman, we're told, ran upstairs and barricaded himself on one of the upper floors. A short time later, he was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now, police and the FBI, they responded very, very quickly, and the FBI actually helped with this investigation. By around 8 p.m., the building was secure. Hundreds of people in that densely populated area had to shelter in place during this lockdown. And city officials, including Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul, they asked the public to stay away from East 52nd Street while this investigation was continuing. And right now, there's no ongoing threat, but a lot of people are just shaken because of the risks of mass shootings and the idea of this guy walking in to a major financial building and opening fire, just shooting people in the lobby. It's almost unbelievable, but it happened. It's shocking. And then the ease with which he was able to walk in there and then somehow get up to some of the upper floors. And right now, again, there's no ongoing threat, but the shooter's identity and motive, well, that's still being investigated. And we have a lot of coverage. We've been on this for hours right now, where we are trying to piece together the elements to this story. What happened? Why was he there? What did he want? Did he actually have a connection to that building? And how long, if at all, this was being planned? Once again, just after 6:30 p.m., a man with a rifle and a bulletproof vest, so there was some sort of planning involved, walked into the lobby of 345 Park Avenue and just opened fire. Just opened fire. This is, again, a major office tower with some of the biggest names in finance. 3 people were shot. A police officer working private security and 2 civilians. We understand that this police officer who was working private security, he was there trying to earn extra money. So he wasn't there on an official New York City job, but he was actually getting paid extra money to work security to keep the people in this building safe. And he was shot. Now, after the shooting, the gunman runs upstairs. It was a frantic situation, and barricaded himself on one of the upper floors. A short time later, he was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Again, we're still trying to find out what the motive is. What was he trying to accomplish? Was this always going to be some sort of suicide mission? These are the big questions that investigators are trying to piece together. And right now, they are trying to get as much surveillance footage as possible. New York City has some of the most surveilled streets in the world. There are many private cameras, there are public cameras, and all of them may have caught him walking into that building, may have caught him several blocks away for that matter. Where did he take out that weapon? What kind of bag was he wearing? All these things are questions that investigators are going to roll back all that footage and try to determine as he walked into the building. I mean, these are key elements. And then, of course, why wasn't he stopped sooner?